esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Shiver doing a little bit of math, trying to calculate the prize pool.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
The IRL calculator. Yeah, we broke 275,000 for the total prize pool, so that's a pretty exciting milestone. But we are in potential last game of the tournament territory here. If our predictions come true, the 3-1 secret, then this very well could be the final game. They're one match away. So, Bulba, you were watching upstairs. We heard what Merlini had to say in the cast. What was your take on that last game?
I think the Enigma, the safe lane from Secret just got way too much. They killed Universe twice. The Enigma got a really good jungling start. He farmed really fast. And then, again, S4 getting that panda. It was a mistake. Yeah. I actually thought EG, they had a decent draft. I think they had like kind of a Chinese VGS draft. They had their Lich Ember mid with the Skyrat safe lane with the Tide off lane. I actually liked the draft. I just think the safe lane from a Secret just got too much. And they weren't able to shut down the Doom that well. Like the Doom was the most.
What can they do differently in the safe lane though? They blocked the camps, and then they had a ward up there too.
Yeah, I think the first blood was really big. Getting that first blood, I think that was very game changing. I think if they didn't get that first blood, maybe the game would have been a bit different. I also think Enigma is very good for Slark in the team fights. Even though they had Lich Chain, it's just hard for Slark to really fight because he can always just get Black Hold when he pops his ultimate, and then when he doesn't have his ultimate up, he just gets focused in the fights. So Secret played really well around the Slark ultimate.
Yeah, it's funny seeing the Secret team's player stats like that because they've won so many games in this tournament. They all have 100% win rates with their heroes. So you look at it and it's like, wow, these guys are really good at a lot of heroes. And
that is true.
I guess that is still a true statement. But okay, so looking forward, this is do or die for EG. This is it. What do you do here? Is this your all-in push strat? Do you stay in your comfort zone? Do you do a similar type strategy and just make sure that Brew is banned out?
I don't know. First pick Lycan, maybe? That's one option.
EG will be Dire, yes. They'll be Dire this game.
Dire and first pick.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not really sure what direction they approach.
It's 2-1 now, right? Yeah,
it's 2-1.
Yeah, it's one of those.
I think with first pick, they have obviously a slight edge. Brew banned out.
Yeah, make sure you sit down
Brew
there,
taken.
Yeah, they'll take it, but would they ban Tide? I think it's going to go, in terms of the first stage of the draft, it's going to go very similar to what we saw in game 1.
Yeah.
Ban out Io, ban out Brew, I think they did, and then pick Tide.
That seems reasonable.
I could see it.
I think it could be the same thing like what Shiver said.
Yeah.
That was a good opening from them.
Yeah, and then they the second pick the Lycan straight
What
away.
they did last game is they basically traded the Brew for the Tide.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out for them just because like
it's
the
not
Tide.
Worth it.
Yeah.
That game it was hard for the Tide. Really, like he died twice in the laning phase.
So overall thoughts about Elder Titan? That was the big priority ban. They banned out Wisp and ET. Obviously, we think Brew is a much scarier hero than the ET, but is Elder Titan still worth a ban if he makes it into the second banning phase, third ban?
It depends on what their game plan is. I think ET's really good at stalling out if you're trying to push high ground, like 20 to 30 minutes in. He's also really good at initiating with the Yules that Bobo was talking about, and he's also really good scaling the late game, which most supports are terrible at.
Right.
So if they want to drag out the game and EG can't end the game early, Elder Titan just gets stronger and stronger.
Okay, could see that.
Yeah, one of the things this game as well, I think the Brew was picked up very early, and they let it through because they thought, hey, we have Skywrath Mage, good counter.
Zai even played very well.
Yeah.
But it's just Brewmaster, man.
They were able to make a lot of space for the Morphling, even though he was versus dual lane mid. They got towers early, and the Panda and the Enigma were so farmed in terms of net worth that they made so much space for the Doom as well.
Yeah, it felt to me like the Lich was almost the bane of that EG draft, just because it allowed the super greed of Secret to work so well. If you looked at the net worth throughout that mid game, it was even, and then you just see this huge jump where Puppy's way up here and the other supports are, way down here.
I think another problem was the Ember. Ember needs a decent start. I don't think Arteezy had that. He was getting doomed every fight. He wasn't able to use his spells well. And I think even in our game versus Alliance, I think the Ember needs a good game. He needs a good laning phase. He had a dual lane mid, but he also needs to be able to do things in the early to mid game, I think, to pressure. And he wasn't able to.
He also needs levels.
Yeah, he needs levels a lot.
Yeah. Very momentum-based hero, and that tends to be where Arteezy shines, but when you get shut down like that, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, maybe the Lich should have rotated top and started dual laning with the Tide there. I don't know if that was a better scenario.
They might have both died then.
Huh?
They might have both died then, because
unless that's only if they get Fisher blocked though. Because if Lich is up there, he'll constantly keep the lane back at his hill. So maybe it's I don't know. It's so situational based. Like one thing can happen there, one thing can happen there. You have to just look at the overall game. And in the overall game, the Doom and the Enigma got so farmed on Dire, and Radiant wasn't able to stop it.
Yeah. Well, if you want to download the replay from that game, we could take a look at that final team fight. Looks like we'll have a couple minutes here, as we still have a few players missing from the lobby. And as I said, they start to load in, but still could be worth a look. The last fight was kind of chaotic and sort of interesting to watch. So at that point, it seemed like it was pretty much over, regardless of if EG could have held out a little bit longer.
Yeah, the Ravages were not forced offensively. They were forced defensively to save a Slark or save an Ember, and in that situation, usually the BKBs already popped, so he can't get ideal Ravages. And the way they approached it was Morphling was uphill with or without Aegis. He still had BKB, and if they killed him, he still didn't do that much. He was just mainly a red herring as to when they should go, and he's just beating on the tower okay, we gotta go. But if I ravage him, then we all die because we just get the solo Morphling, and Skywrath can't just walk up and Ancient Seal him because he'll just die too. So they didn't have a good way of dealing with the tower siege, and if it's too obvious, they just mass BKB and counter initiate, and I don't know. I think that Secret approached it very smartly, and they know exactly how to play against a Tidehunter.
Yeah.
I think the problem with EG's lineup is like what Ben said. I think they needed a tankier hero at the front for the Tide to counter initiate. With the Slark and Ember, I think those two heroes kind of do the same thing in the team fights. They jump in and they try and burst, not really burst, but just cause chaos in the fight. But they were just totally countered by the Enigma Black Hole, the presence of the Black Hole. Even though they had Chain, just even the split second of Black Hole just kind of screwed up the team fight because they had to play around that. The presence of the Black Hole is honestly as big as the actual Black Hole landing in the fights. So, also the Shaker played really well there. I think there were some really good fishers on him that were able to shut down the Slark as well as the Ember.
Yeah.
So
maybe a Bristle with Vanguard Pipe or something.
Even a Viper.
Something more tanky that can just okay, hey Morph, I'm gonna beat you up if you come up to our T3.
Yeah.
And they needed a tankier hero that wasn't cooldown dependent.
Well, those are two heroes we've seen kind of ignored this game. Anything else come to mind? Necrophos one that we saw banned out in the first match, ignored game 2, but
I think the first few picks are really important. Giving them Brewmaster is just a mistake. You can't get. I don't think you can give them Brew or Wisp, but if your first pick, you can afford to give Fear Brew instead. So I think that draft is very important.
Okay. So it's all about the opening is basically what it boils down to.
Well, I mean, the Morphling counter pick too. We're not obviously not positive if they wanted the Morphling, but it definitely seemed like it was set up with the Elder Titan first ban and the Ancient Apparition, and then the Lich too. And Arteezy plays a pretty good Morphling, and they use it a lot.
It was really smart from Puppy to pick the Morphling there.
And he didn't do anything. It just denied him a pick, and then in turn they have to go a different, less ideal hero, one that's more susceptible to Doom, one that's more susceptible to Black Hole. Morphling can just morph through all those.
Yeah, and it was on top of ET was already banned out, Ancient Apparition was already banned out, and Shadow Demon's pretty good against Morphling, but they already had their supports lined up. So what do you do to shut down the Morphling at that point?
I feel EG maybe they should open their draft a bit more to the Terrorblade pick. I think that hero they can play around that hero. I think.
Do they play Terrorblade?
I haven't seen them play Terrorblade much, but I think they should be able to play that hero. I mean, it's not. I think it could fit their playstyle well.
What about Naga Siren too?
I don't know if they like Naga that much.
They like to move around
a
bit earlier, and Naga might not be like doesn't really fit in their play style, I would say.
No, it's been a
The
while
bunch.
since Arteezy's really done his Naga
Yeah.
Siren. That was a few patches ago.
Yeah.
It's just
I
not
think-
the flavor right now.
He likes more active heroes nowadays, or at least it seems that way.
Yeah.
I think Ember as a hero, you need to kind of do stuff, and Arteezy wasn't able to do much, but the Doom got really good Dooms off. So
Well, we have still not seen an Arteezy PA this tournament. Another pocket strat they like to pull out. And
Impossible versus Brew.
Have we
yeah.
seen PA at all?
No, I haven't seen any.
he's not that
PA.
good versus Brew and Earthshaker.
Yeah, it just hasn't fit into the kind of the mini meta this tournament's brought upon us. But the other one is the Omni Knight. We have not seen any Omni Knight, and
I
that's
think Omni Knights would be good.
yeah, that's one that EG like to pull out at a time or two. Often paired with the Shadow Fiend, but not necessarily exclusively.
He's all right. I think if they do, they need to pick him last. I think
Yeah.
Puppy's smart enough to draft around it. Or just get a Diffusal Hero or even Shadow Demon. There are ways around it. Or they can take it away that Avicii did and just go for really like split precise ganks with Sand King and Skyrat that you have like less than 1 second to react. And if you don't react in time, the hero's dead and you waste your pick on a hero and you're wasting your time trying to save this hero that's already dead. So there's a lot of ways to approach it.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into this draft because, boy, these teams seem to know exactly what they want. They're going on by. You can hear the crowd going wild. And
We're not in the draft. We're still in the lobby,
Wait, what?
so that's a problem.
Wait, what's going on here? Am I the only one in the draft?
No, he was definitely sitting down. Look at the lobby.
well,
It's,
That's a problem.
Why don't you switch computers with me, and then you can do camera work?
It's
Not possible.
This one is not plugged in to
No. That's why I log in there, so you can join the game on that computer.
Wait, what?
Doesn't work that way.
What?
Does it?
No, because this is still number 1 in the camera slot.
I know. This is why.
Maybe if we log back
Oh.
in and out, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
wait,
weird.
you're number 1 in the camera. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, the draft is
Oh,
on the screen. We
God.
have the Russian stream up. It looks like.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can get maybe. Yeah. So okay, let's talk about the draft for now. So we see the Wisp Brewmaster band out, the same exact bands we've talked about. The Razor Jakiro coming out from Secret. First pick Tidehunter straight away. Earthshaker Death Prophet for Team Secret, and there's your second pick, Lycan.
Lycan's a good, safe pick for them. They need to win 2 games more if they want to win this tournament, and I think at least one of them has to be a Lycan win. They've taken a lot of wins in this tournament just based off the strength of Arteezy's Lycan. They play very well around it, they create a ton of space, and they know exactly when to do Roche and when to pressure towers with the Aegis, and also his farm is just massively accelerated by his entire team. They know how to stack. They control the map with, let's say, Zai's Hawk. They also farm very efficiently, too. It's not like Arteezy's the only one getting farmed. So it's decent, but Team Secret has Death Prophet. We've seen S4 endgames fairly often with that.
Yeah, it's a bit weaker on Radiant in my opinion, just because getting a big part of DP right now is getting the Aegis up on and getting the Roshan up, or getting the Roshan kill. And it's a lot harder on Radiant, in my opinion, for Radiant Death Prophet, unless they can maintain map control. But Noto got his hero again, the Earthshaker.
It'll be also particularly difficult this game to secure the Roche because you know EG is going to be all over that pit. Any opportunity they have once the Vlads is up on Arteezy, they'll be moving into the pit looking to secure an Aegis of their own. There's the third ban on the Vengeful Spirit out of Secret, another key hero we've seen in this series so far.
So we see EG lead with the same draft as game number 1, and Team Secret go with something different. And we talked a lot about the weakness of game 1 draft, game 2, whatever you want to call it, the first game that was actually played.
Right.
And firstly, they have Earthshaker for team fight. They severely lacked on team fight. They had heroes like Ogre, like Priestess of the Moon. These are single target heroes. Earthshaker, Echo, GG, especially versus 2 melee heroes. Fissure, block to counter-initiate Ravage if he's out of range. And they also have Death Prophet to take towers. They couldn't take on the T1s, and because of that, they couldn't limit the farm and control EG to a place that they wanted to be. So they already mitigated those problems with their first 2 picks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what EG picks now with the Lycan. They've been liking the Venge a lot. With the Lycan, they also ran, I think, the Beastmaster before as well.
Yeah, Bulba can't. His computer is being repaired right now, but they third banned the Venge and now a 4th ban on the Bat Rider from Secret. So, yeah, Venge is out of the question this time around.
Yeah, so good bans there on the Venge, and now it wonders what universe will play, unless that is not a safe lane Tide anymore. I mean, unless that's
I
depends
think
on
potentially like a Fear Tide is still an option.
yeah, it is, but it also shows what universe can really play. what is EG's response versus the DP mid? A DP is kind of a hard matchup for the Lycan mid, in my opinion, because the Lycan, it's hard for him to sustain versus the Lycan mid. Or
Yeah.
it's hard for Lycan to sustain versus the Death Prophet mid.
Does EG play any Viper?
They can also run safe lane Lycan and do an Ember again.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna Ember again though. After that game, I don't know if they like. I don't think if RTZ wants to play Ember again, man.
Oh man.
A lot of these classic Arteezy heroes we've seen him play over and over.
I think it has to play Lycan in this game.
Yeah.
What's a hero? They could Sven. EG could Sven.
They could send Zymid with something interesting.
I haven't seen them play Viper much, by the way. So
Yeah, I'm thinking just Viper as a lane dominator against DP, but yeah, not a hero that EG like to run all so much.
they could Venge again. Another good hero versus Shaker and Death Prophet is Clockwork. I think is quite good.
Venge is banned.
Visage,
Yeah,
maybe. for
Visage?
Zai?
That could be
yeah
interesting.
sorry, Visage and it.
Ah, okay. Wow, Secret really taking their time with this third pick, though, making sure they have the right setup. I mean, they still have a Skywrath available. They could also Sand King themselves.
I think it's. But what is Simba gonna play?
Timber is a good option here.
Yeah.
Lycan Tide, two pretty beefy guys.
Timber's an option. Doom also. Doom is decent versus Tide. He isn't that good versus Lycan, but
They could go NP and push as well.
yeah.
Yeah. I think those are the three best options we're looking at for Fly. But Secret will run down the clock. Only 5 seconds remaining. And we'll see what they're...
I love this.
There it is, McGee. So, who's No Tail playing here? I guess
Is
the,
that-
the
looks like-
Shaker.
It looks like a Core Ogre again, maybe, or a Puppy Ogre.
They both
Puppy
play
Ogre.
both, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah.
I know Puppy can play Shaker. I'm actually not sure if Puppy plays Ogre.
I think they want to give No Tail that Shaker though. His Shaker has been on fire this tournament.
Yeah. I think Ogres.
Might be Puppy or Fly. It depends really.
Yeah. So the core Ogre, Boba, you were the one saying earlier that you're not a big fan of the core Ogre, right?
I think it's better put on support in my opinion. Some situations I think the Core Ogre is fine, but it's once they get the BKBs and stuff. Also, it's kind of hard for him to get farm, pure offlane.
Yeah.
So, and as well as levels. I think another cool hero is the Medusa. Like Secret loves the Medusa with the Ogre Magi. Like they
Yeah.
love the bloodlusted Medusa.
Yeah, they
So-
love
and the Dazzle.
You know, this could be a Dusa Magnus
Yeah,
finisher. here.
Dazzle's actually quite good versus Dusa though, because Dusa or Dazzle puts his ulti on everyone on your team, and then Dusa doesn't do that much damage in the fights. So I don't know for sure. Dazzle's also very good versus Death Prophet.
Yeah.
The Dazzle ulti on everyone is
Mhm.
quite strong counter to the Death Prophet.
EG could be hedging their bets here. I mean, the S4 Magnus is still a threat.
I love the Dazzle pick, by the way. That was a cool
Mhm.
pick there from EG
Yeah. It is one that PPD pulls out sometimes.
and Timber.
But
Like
there's your
Ben
Timber
said.
Saw.
Yeah.
No big surprise about that one. The Dazzle is pretty good with Lycan as well. Gives him
Yeah.
the extra armor, and also just the Shallow Grave can come in handy on Big Wolfie.
Thinking about what hero Fear can play now, unless that is a Fear Tide. There are two options. He can still be the Tide player or Tide Hunter. He can also be like there's some like Bone Clinks is actually really good, I think, versus what Secret has. I think Bone is a good hero versus Timber because he's an inherent Orchid hero.
Yeah.
What other heroes are there?
There is still a Skywrath in the pool. Very good against Timber as well. Not a huge amount of synergy with the rest of the EG lineup, though. And what are you thinking here, Merlini?
Common heroes with Dazzle are usually strength heroes. Like you'll see Bristleback and Starladder, but both of them don't fare terribly well versus Timbersaw. But we still saw Cloud9 utilize it.
It can work. What are you thinking second support-wise, though, to pair with the Dazzle here?
Second support-wise, that's a tough one. They really like lockdown, short duration
There you go.
lockdown.
There's the Visage. So synergy with the Dazzle, get that physical damage from the familiars there, and some of that lockdown you were talking about.
Yeah, it's minimal, and none of these can really do that well at zoning out a Timbersaw. And I've seen Timbersaw, or Fly's Timbersaw rather, just do terribly in the early game, just due to Skywrath or someone zoning him out. So if he gets an easier time, it's pretty scary. And neither of these are really good at killing a Death Prophet either in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Watch EG burst out the drill.
The other problem with this support duo for EG is they're both heroes that need a lot of farm. They both want to hit level 6 quickly, and They don't really jungle that well, especially in the early levels. Visage can a bit later on once he gets the familiars, but that stretch from 1 to 6 might be tricky if EG don't have a great laning phase.
They have Lycan for that. The Lycan will always can go jungle and gives support the lane. I think that's one of the reasons, honestly, that EG loves the Lycan this right now in this patch, is because it always gives Zai a lane to farm. And EG is all about efficiency, right? So they are able to farm both the jungle as well as the laning phase.
Yeah.
The Lycan.
And there's that Deuce of 5th ban coming out from EG. Again, smart. I think it was a very real possibility for Secret. And Secret take out the Faceless Void.
I don't know if EG would pick Void.
Yeah, again, not so confident about that one. Not a huge amount of synergy with the Lycan, but it could have been an option. The Universe Void is always something to be wary of.
EG has actually a lot of burst damage.
Well, but you need to move Mike closer to your mouth. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
EG has a lot of burst damage actually for the Death Prophet.
That might be too close. Happy meet.
Is this better?
Yeah, perfect. There you go.
Okay, yeah, and the puck. Whoa.
Okay.
Is that a safe lane puck? Or mid puck? It's probably a mid puck.
That's a good question.
They actually have a really good lineup for the puck.
Yeah.
They have no disable besides the shaker, or it's hard for them to disable. They have disables on Secret, but they don't have an easy disable on the puck besides really the silence on the Death Prophet.
And the Kuroki Gyrocopter was the final pick for Secret. So we will get into this game momentarily here, folks. And
I'm not sure what's going on.
yeah, we're doing the old switcheroo as old Resetti, the computer, was having some issues. So looks like we've got it figured out. So LD and Merlini will be taking over for what could be the final game here of the Starladder Season 10 LAN Finals. Secret 1 game away, and EG, they absolutely need this one to take us to a 5th and final match of the tournament.
And with that, we'll be hopping into the game momentarily. Just a few small technical issues, but hopefully we'll be able to get both of us into the game. And with that, we can run through our lineups here. And now we're back, but we've already swapped some cables around, so we're going with the ghetto setup. All right, on the Dire side, we'll have Team EG trailing 1-2 in the best of 5 on the Radiant. Secret with the lead, thanks to that winner's bracket advantage that they earned by 2-0ing EG in the previous match. EG, PPD on the Dazzle. RTZ playing your Lycan. Zai will be handling your Visage. Fear taking up the role as the puck that puts Universe onto your Tidehunter, headed to the off lane for now. And then for Team Secret, you've got Kuroki playing your Gyrocopter, S4 on the Death Prophet, Big Daddy No Tail on the Earthshaker, and that will leave Puppy on the Ogre Magi, as well as Simba on your Timbersaw. All right, and we're underway now. The crowd gets pumped up. I think Follett's trying to see who's fans of each team. And it's pretty loud here for Secret, as you might expect. They've got some well-known players who've done a lot for CIS organizations, particularly Na'Vi. Uh-oh. All right, so Zai rotating towards the top lane. It looks like it's going to be the S4 Death Prophet mid, laning up against Fear's Puck. In the off lane, we'll go Universe as the Tidehunter. And in the meantime, Kuroki will be playing your Gyrocopter. And yeah, Fear going mid on the Puck. This harkens back to TI1 actually, Ben.
I'm actually surprised that they didn't switch. I think Fear plays a pretty good Lycan, and Arteezy has a very good puck too.
I mean, there's some amazing clips of Arteezy's puck. Just going back to before he really became a competitive player, or a well-known one, when he was playing IXDL, the buyback jaunt, and then took out like 3 or 4 heroes. So yeah, I'm surprised. Fear's certainly capable of playing a good puck in his own right. But yeah, they'll run the Simba off-lane Timbersaw, something we've seen a lot of earlier in the tournament. It was for a while his go-to hero. What do you think about the lane so far?
It looks like it's shaping up all right, but at the same time, they can't really zone out Timbersaw at all. As for this matchup, isn't great for. Oh man, nice fissure.
Fissure gonna hit Fear, and he'll be able to retreat out nonetheless. Not the best lockdown here early on. As Universe and Puppy trade blows, and we've seen this before, the Ogre Magi just so good at zoning the Tidehunter out of the off lane. Can trade with him, even if you anchor smash him, he's tanky enough just to pummel you through that and hardly take any damage. At the same time, Simba also being zoned pretty heavily. He's still only level 1, despite being a Radiant offlane Timber. We're now nearly 2 minutes in. In good news for EG, they're getting a lot of farm early on the Lycan. And they are running this it's kind of a more well-rounded draft. When we saw them go for the Lycan Visage earlier, it was with a Venge support, and they didn't have the team fight specialist in the Puck and the Tide, but this time around they've got the team fight and they've got the push power. Secret, very heavy AoE overall, though. Well, they're going to wrap around on the top lane again, bringing in their Dazzle, trying to harass Simba a bit. They'll chain through onto PPD. Still really focused on zoning that Timbersaw out, but we've seen Simba been shut down really hard in the laning stage before many times this event and still find a way to have a big impact.
And I think a big important point for Secret, which they should learn from Game 1, is trying to contest EG's Roshan potential. And that's going to be very difficult before they have BKBs. So that means putting pressure on the middle lane, putting pressure on the bottom lane, try and get those towers down ASAP so EG can't just smoke in and do an easy Roshan. And at the same time, they have to be very judicious about usage of the
top lane.
Death Prophet ult.
No, not going to go in fully. But yeah, EG definitely have the Roche Sneak potential. The Hal, the Visage Familiars, Medallion, probably a likely pickup for one of these supports early on. They also have decent push here in the top lane. And a Fissure will connect on Fear mid. He's harassed back by S4. Fear is still doing pretty damn well in this lane, considering that Big Daddy's just been camping mid, constantly fissuring him. Still, he's only down just a handful of CS to the Death Prophet.
I really like Gyrocopter as a carry. I'm not sure if he's like particularly good this game or particularly bad, but he can be played in a variety of ways. You can like HOD stack, you can go like a move speed build on him, you can get a lot of early kills with Rocket Barrage, you have physical and magical damage, you have a slow that goes through BKB, so he has a lot to offer, and I can understand why Puppy likes to draft him for Kuro.
Another Fissure on mid, again the harassment onto Fear. And, well, nothing really after that. Spending a lot of time trying to contest him. And I guess we're going to have a quick switcheroo here.
Yeah. Lycanthrope looks to be leader in CS, sitting at 26. Not a terribly easy lane versus Timbersaw, and Fly is still getting far more than he normally does out of this lane.
All right. I believe we have counterback, although I'm not hearing myself. Yeah, sorry for the musical computers, guys. The PC issues continue. I think we're back now. Still using the Russian camera, but I believe we'll be, or the Starladder camera, but I believe we'll be switching in a second. We had a PC crash. Anyway, so early on, gold very close, experience pretty even. Nobody gaining a massive lead in this laning stage, and it's been just deliberate play overall from both teams. As we're losing our monitor now. Uh-oh. Well, we'll cast off of the flat screen. Croaky throwing out a missile onto the Tidehunter. Simba and PPD. Little dink there. Yeah, PPD's Eye and Arteezy getting a lot of farm on their Lycan early on. But it does come at the cost of free farm for that Gyrocopter. How much stacking are we seeing right now for Secret? I'm pretty curious about that.
None at Ancients. We see a 3-stack at the largest camp on the left side, and everything else is just a single stack. So, not that much. Just 2 extra ones.
Okay. And both teams do use their stacks fairly well.
Secret has also blocked the Tidehunter's Ancient Spawn, and I think that is very, very important, something that we really haven't seen done most of this tournament.
Yeah, they also dropped the Hill Ward near that, and they are looking for their wraparound. Could be a first blood opportunity. The only dire observer ward here is this bottom one. Big Daddy's just waiting. But Universe may scout him out. He's on the hunt. Big Daddy just around the tree line. He actually didn't see him, I don't think.
Well, they can potentially go for a kill here. They need the creep wave cleared, though, so Flat Cannon will hit. It's a little bit deep to chase Universe into that territory.
They have 3 TPs on EG, though. 2 of them on Fierce Puck, who's now going to skirmish with S4. Orbing elsewhere on the map. Yeah, just on the creep wave.
And
still waiting now.
It's very smart for Universe to stay on the right side of the creep wave, too. If he suspects that they have a ward, they would be able to see him on the left.
Yeah, and Instead, they're not able to get in close to him. And the nice thing is for Secret, if they do catch him, oh, mid lane diving in. Could be your first blood. S4 caught out of position. Will end up dropping. EG claim that one. A very important takedown. They get off to a nice start here, and they also dodge the first blood attempt of Secret.
That's very good use of the Lycan Wolves, too. It's just unexpected bursts that S4 didn't account for.
At the same time, Simba's being chased, though. Arteezy onto him, locking him a bit with the Wolf. He's still fine, though. This forces out a Big Daddy rotation, but still they take down the bottom tier 1. First blood to EG, but first tower to Secret. Honestly, wouldn't have expected that, given that EG are running the Lycan tri-lane, but just very little the Tidehunter could do to defend that.
Yeah, not when Ogre is playing that aggressively, and he doesn't really have that much to do with that Ancient Camp being taken down, and that will also limit Lycanthrope's farm a lot.
There's smoke in the river, it looks like, or at least a rotation in the river. Your Earthshaker moving towards the Dire jungle, and we're seeing this again. The team that runs the EG, EG, the team running the Lycan, they like to abandon the lane and just let their supports get some levels. But this means there's a squishy hero top, something that may be punished. Zai, very close to dying here. If they get a fissure and he's not all the way back out of range of the timber, he will fall. Big Daddy, his smoke now revealed. No dire vision of it, but the smoke will break. Could be caught out.
But we see actually the Wolves will scout out No-Tail, and he is none the wiser. And it looks like everyone is rotating in. Tidehunter Ravage is up.
This was something that EG were talking a lot about, Ben, when they were watching the replays of the initial series up at the beginning of today, before like the Alliance Cloud9 match, and they talked a lot about Secret's early rotations and just the importance of being constantly vigilant about No-Tail's position in particular. And so far, they've done a really nice job in this game of not getting caught out.
Still, they're falling behind in terms of the gold graph, sitting about 1,000 gold ahead. Secret is.
It's the tier 1 bottom, I guess, basically. And should they get this tier 1 top soon, they would be on top, or at least even, rather, with their first blood. So getting out farmed a bit, but still close overall thanks to the first blood.
And Vlad's picked up already, and Lycan, and I mean, he can probably do Roche on his own at this point, maybe waiting for a Medallion from Visage, which is coming very, very soon.
His eye is rushing that. Already has his chainmail up. He's close. Let's see, anything on the courier? No, not just yet, but he is closing in. I'm really looking forward to see what Fear can do at his puck this game. He's close to a Blink Dagger. He'll orb in. Only about 500 gold to go on that. All right, looks like everything's sorted out with the camera issues now.
And finally, the Ancients have been unblocked, but Kiro is still pushing to T2, just throwing homing missile after homing missile onto Universe and just posting in a very aggressive posture.
Arteezy down at the Ancients. He's going to pop his ultimate. Metamorphosis? Or Shapeshift, rather. Just to farm faster, I guess. Didn't actually see anything too important. At the same time, though, they're diving the top lane. Simba getting aggressive. Grave was used. He's caught out by 2. Now the Familiar Stones come through. He almost gets the kill with the chain. He's going to retreat out. They have a stick charge. Still not enough for a soul stump. He's got teleport and a regen ready. He might be able to turn this one. He goes back in with the chakram, but chains to nothing. Unable to retreat. Gets a little overzealous at the same time in the mid lane. S4 has used Exorcism. Tower denied. Not going to be there. S4 chasing down Fear. There's a phase shift ready. He uses it a bit prematurely. Now they get the kill. S4 finds a big one. A tower and a puck pickoff. Only for a Timbersaw kill.
S4, Big Daddy with these ninja fissures too. Thought he could go in safely for the deny, but no way. Not with the fissure. And all at the same time, Kiro's just farming away on bottom. Gyrocopter is so vulnerable at this stage in the game. At the same time, the Secret supports have been very active and not stacking for him too, so they don't have to worry about a huge influx coming in anytime soon.
Drums now picked up on your Death Prophet, and it is a tri-core for Secret. If they manage to get some BKBs this game, Ben, there's trouble for EG to lock them down. They have physical damage, but no stuns of any kind, unless they get like a Puck Aghanim Scepter, but
still the Dazzle
that's
Ultimate,
looking a long way off.
Dazzle Ultimate plus like a Vlad's is already a ton of armor, and they might be able to out-sustain a Death Prophet.
Secret do have a lot of magic damage as well, though.
They certainly do.
That is one thing their lineup is going for them. The Exorcism Flak, a lot of physical, but then the rest of the team brings a lot of magic damage to the table, so a pretty nice spread. EG have it as well, but that's where the lack of ways to deal with BKBs could come into play.
EG is much better at dealing with BKBs than Secret is.
We'll see it. Yeah. For now, Fear is just trying to farm his Blink, and I guess that's the key item for them. Universes is a long way off, and this goes back to the vigilance of Secret in terms of warding the Ancients. So if they want to make a play anytime soon, it's going to be either just the Roche Sneak or it's going to be the Puck Blink setting things up. As Simba gets aggressive now top lane, he's going to continue to pressure Arteezy.
Yeah, notice they're always trying to get eyes on Arteezy too, and the time that it takes for him to smoke up, or sorry, TP and then smoke up is probably like 15 seconds. So if he's gone for more than like 25 seconds at any time, then they'll probably check the Roche pit.
They get their Blink now on the Puck. They have their ults ready. And Arteezy is just chilling in this top lane, continue to farm. Curious to see if Secret try and make a move. Big Daddy heads top, maybe anticipating a gank. At the same time, Zai has his medallion and a single familiar.
Early Blink Dagger, super early, I think, from him even after dying one time.
Yeah, Fear did a pretty nice job in that mid lane, considering he was fissured like 6-7 times by No Tail and constantly camped out.
Big fight about to brew up, but Lycan Wolves are already there, so Secret won't be able to catch them by surprise. If they catch Big Daddy with a fissure, or with a Ravage rather.
Sneak. They're going to make a beeline for the Roche pit. At the same time, Kuroki's pushing in this lane so aggressively here. He's just not afraid of getting ganked at all.
Now they've
He's
been
about
gone
to
for
get
that 25-second-ish duration, and they have to suspect that something is up, either a smoke gank somewhere or a Roshan attempt.
Arteezy into the pit. The Wolves are going to work on this. They have the Medallion of Zai. Familiars resummon. With Howl damage, this will drop quite quickly. Only about 10-15 seconds before Secret are going to be too late, and Big Daddy makes his... he's already too late. Roche will drop. So a free Aegis pickup for EG. It was the key for them in that earlier match, just having superior late game, and also, I think, along with that, taking these Roshans. This time around, they're definitely controlling the Roche nicely. At the same time, though, Secret about to get their BKB on Kuroki. They've got their core items out on S4, and they've got their levels on Puppey, multicast online. And they're going to look for a pickoff. Fear is backing off at the right time, though.
They're looking to reward this Ancient spot. I mean, I think EG has taken every single Ancient stack since it's been dewarded. And Fear.
Oh, Fear, he gets caught first by the long range. That was quite a Stretch Armstrong stun. Nuke from the Ogre Magi. Now the turn on the Big Daddy. Familiar stun number 1 gets the kill with the Soul Assumption. S4 will retreat out. That cost them a coil, but at least getting a clean exchange. At the same time, Gerald completes that BKB as mentioned. They are still farming Simba in the top lane. So a kill for EG, but it's a lot invested just to keep their heroes alive.
And that was actually a little bit late silence from S4. There were 2 stuns onto him, and if he got a level 1 silence onto him right then, he would have died. Still,
even at level 1, it still lasts for 3 seconds. So.
Things proceeding very well for EG. Very similar to position from game 1. They slowed down the Ancient farm. They somewhat slowed down the Roche. And they have very good late game. So things are a little bit different, but overall, first 10-15 minutes, relatively similar.
Uh-oh. Lycan caught out in the Radiant jungle, but with that 650 move speed, he's able to jolt out. Still the ult forced out, and this may prompt Secret to get aggressive elsewhere. And Fears and Viz roaming towards this top lane.
Big Daddy knows, though.
Looking maybe for a courier pickoff even. Let's see if he goes for that. No, he finds Big Daddy. He wants to kill the Earthshaker. Nothing at all that he can do. And now they look for more. They ravage up Simba, focusing him. Still he chains through. He does a ton of damage. The Universe has stick charges. Chakram throw back the other way. Nice phase shift dodge by Fear, but he gets caught on the return. Now they'll grave him. Coil was used. The orbs towards the tree line, retreats out, goes for the TP. No, he's going to blink. Oh no, didn't actually TP. Just blinks out instead. Zai, now he TPs to safety. Kuroki's on the hunt. He'll get PP'd as the trade. Not too bad in the end for EG though. Finally managing to shut down that damn Timbersaw.
They've been doing a much better job of keeping tabs of No Tail, as you mentioned, was very key for them, and he just dies every time Puck finds him.
Still Secret have their BKB on Kuroki. I wonder if they try to force something here. Knowing that Ravage is down, knowing that Coil is down, No Tail now back up to the top lane. They are lacking their Exorcism though. Let's see how aggressive they want to play this.
Yeah, that's really what they need to push. Nice play from PPD there, too, to save Puck, waiting for his Blink and Orb cooldown with that Grave. And Arteezy just farming wherever he wants to. He was farming in the enemy jungle earlier. Now he's skipping the creep wave. He was pushing mid, forced out a glyph, and he is just having their way. They couldn't stop him before. They tried to dump a gyrocopter ultimate on him, but still didn't even put a dent in his HP. And Aegis will still be there for a couple of minutes.
Secret now going to push through mid. They've got S4 in front, Exorcism in 40. They're bringing in Kuroki's gyrocopter momentarily, but already the tier 1 drops bottom. Arteezy playing keep away, while Secret try to force him to come home and roost. So far not successful. They will steal a small stack here in the jungle. The split push continues, and he's going to TP onto mid. They've got a Fear smoked up puck again. Will he get the jump a second time? Last time he had an invis, which is a little bit easier. Secret are waiting in a nice position to potentially scout this out. EG going for a D-ward. They've dropped a sentry. They do have eyes on this Radiant Observer, but they're going to move past it, still under cover of smoke, and just in time they clear that. They could get the jump here with Fear. Coil in to start on S4. Then they follow up with the Orb. They need more lockdown to get this kill. Familiars begin to pound into it, but he Yules. And now Puppey getting focused down. Can he get off a single spell? Not going to happen. They're on the retreat out now. Kuroki being forced to run. Simba scattering too. They lost their Death Prophet in the end, and they're looking for more. A third hero drops. The gyrocopter of Kuroki finished off. It might be 4. It will be a triple for the Arteezy Lycan. Once again set up by Fear. But more importantly, set up by this Sentry Ward. They knew because of that they could move safely past as their smoke expired without getting spotted by Secret. EG just out finessing Secret to get the jump.
That wasn't even a great fight for them to take anyways. Lycanthrope still has his Aegis, and they had no buffer for Death Prophet there. Earthshaker was much too far out of position to get a fissure block during the Dream Coil.
So EG take a tier 1 now, and well, tower score, only a 1 tower lead for Secret. They started this off with a very early gyrocopter tri-lane tier 1. Or, well, dual lane, I guess, but
and
still.
his BKB didn't matter. He just got medallion and right-clicked.
Yeah, he didn't even use it, but it wouldn't have mattered even if he had. They need to be able to protect him, but it's tough when you don't have that Tidehunter. It's been EG's strategy this series over the past 2 games, just to try and take the Tide early and deny it to Secret. And so far in this game, it seems to be paying off. Not to say that the Timbersaw of Simba has been useless by any means. He did a nice job of harassing Arteezy, but once Lycan gets his core items, he can just go farm elsewhere, even if he doesn't want to lane against Timber.
Yeah, I think it's mostly the Lycan pick more than anything. And since Secret is getting heavily out-farmed and they keep on losing a Roshan, they want to force the EG into a very bad position during the fight. Tidehunter didn't even use Ravage, and that just shows you how desperate Secret were to take a fight. They're like, well, okay, we're just going to push a T2 into the top lane without an Earthshaker blink, without BKB on Death Prophet, and still try and go in.
Secret do have decent Ancient clear now that Kuroki's got the max flat cannon and some teammates back you up. So the Ancients, which continue to be a very important component of this game, will be farmed. No longer ward blocked by either team. Arteezy keeping neck and neck with him, but he's 3-0-2, and he has the Roshan kill to his name, whereas the enemy Gyrocopter for Kuroki, 0-1, therefore falling 2.5k gold behind. He will finish off this Ancient stack. It keeps him relatively close.
But I mean,
And
Necro 3 on Lycan.
Yeah, he's going to bring a lot more to the team fights than what the Gyrocopter does. They're also getting close to the Zyags, and that might even be the biggest item. He's only 200 gold off. This is... And he went Medallion first, too. Very, very good farm on the Visage.
A lot of it has to do with the Wolf Scouting, too. The Wolf Scouting that Obzor on top lane. This Obzor probably MVP for first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah. The Exorcism, and they're going to try and force the tower. It will be denied. No. Attempted, though. As S4 chases in, they're going to look for an opening here from Kuroki. He scouts out a few, but at the same time, bottom lane, it's Arteezy getting aggressive, almost brought down. Uh-oh, this could be trouble. Galloping to the north with that 650 move speed. Run, run, run. He ends up getting the kill on the Timbersaw. I think he died to the Necro book. He killed the melee Necro, I believe.
Not sure.
Or he got right-clicked down. But either way, he dies. And Arteezy lives. That's the Bloodstone immediately dissipating down to 5 charges.
They're looking for more kills. Fear, Blink Dagger, Yules at the ready.
Yeah, they're looking for kills. Top with Universe and Zai as well. Although, just in the nick of time, S4 is going to back off.
Oh, Big Daddy.
Could be in trouble. They blink in. They've got a Yule Scepter to start. Coil to follow if need be. Multicast will hit Fear, but he gets healed up then. Fissured. Still chasing. He's got a Blink Dagger in 3 seconds, and they're chasing out the Big Daddy. There's your coil. Now the orb. Great silence from Fear, finishing him off before they can do much of anything. Then he just retreats out.
I'm not really sure why he Yules it. That put him in a somewhat compromising position before it buys time for Secret to TP in. Granted, they don't have any big combo breakers aside from Earthshaker himself, but still, that fight could have gone a little bit worse.
Yeah, ended up working out in the end. They get their Ags now on Zai. And the push for EG is going to begin to ramp up heavily from here.
Well,
they demolish the tier 2 bottom, and now they equalize the tower score. Roshan number 2. That's ready. Let's see if EG just walk into the pit and take it.
I'm starting to think that the Lycan ban is more important than the Razor ban. Secret just can't play around it. They know exactly what's coming because EG did almost the exact same thing in game number 1. And they couldn't stop Roshan number 1. They tried to take down a lot of towers, but that still didn't limit EG's farm. And with RTZ probably picking up, BKB or AC in the next couple of minutes, and the Aegis, like Kuro just can't compete with this at all, even with Ancient stacks.
Yeah, what does he do when Arteezy just runs at him with an Abyssal Blade later this game? They have nothing on that. They don't have the Dazzle. They don't have, I mean, maybe a timely Fissure block from Big Daddy, but for now he's up to 3,300 gold. We could just see the BKB first. That's fairly safe choice for him. It negates most of what Secret bring to the table.
I think if Big Daddy gets a blink, that can be a game changer because they might be able to burst down EG's hero before something happens. But as of right now, they have to rely on an Ogre walking up, getting a lucky multicast, or bursting someone down into a fissure, and EG's far too tanky to let that happen.
Yeah, and that's where Fear could also be the game changer if he's able to get off Yules or PPD with the Grave. So positioning will be, and reaction speed will be of the utmost importance here for EG. As they farm their woods with Zai, he continues to climb. He's not too far off of his own puck. And now they go in. Universe looking for a Gush, gets fogged at the last second. At the same time in mid, there will be a TP out from your Lycan. Arteezy able to retreat. S4 also on the run. Good defensive fissure will block that path. Kuroki might not be so lucky. You'll scepter up. This time it'll allow his team to close. They can BKB TP on him, and that's what they'll have to do. Still 10-second BKB forced out. No real investment there from Team EG.
Yeah, gold lead, 6,500.
Uh-oh.
Probably going to get worse pretty soon.
Here comes the Lycan. Hunting for S4. He gets stunned. Now he's going to back off and look to surround Puppy. Double damager and bottle up by your Timbersaw. How quickly will he melt? Not quite quick. Oh, there you go. Got him with that last nuke. As he used the Necro Minion Mana Burn to secure that kill. And now they chase in. Call down. Blink. Silence onto Big Daddy. Fear is going to look to punish him again. Oh, he's just short of the kill. So close to that. Fear has been such a pain for Big Daddy this game. Really limiting what he can do in fights.
I actually think he could be doing more too. He could have blown his coil right there, and that's an easy kill on the Earthshaker. Still, he's doing his job.
They know the Gyrocopter BKB is on cooldown for 25. Perhaps EG go for the tier 2 top as well. I think they can do this. And that's going to leave Secret with nothing outside of their tier 3s to defend from.
And more importantly, no access to their Ancients, which is really the only way that Gyrocopter can mildly compete with Lycan's farm.
And no Ancients either, because they're farming them too.
Mm-hmm.
Painful.
Painful indeed. I actually think that Zai might be able to solo Gyrocopter at this point.
He gets Yules, and we're going to find out real quickly if S4 can take a fight. Holy crap! That is not good. That is not good at all for Secret.
Yeah, he doesn't have any armor. BKB is good. It's necessary versus Ravage, but at the same time, he's going to need Shivas really quickly.
Such decisive reactions from Universe. That's like exactly how Fly was playing his Tide yesterday. Just no hesitation. The second you see an opening, blink Ravage. It's, even if they have a BKB, just trust that you'll get the jump on them first. And it was the case here. And now they go in. They have that Death Prophet Exorcism on cooldown. This might be an opportunity for EG to force the high ground entirely. They do fight into a big AoE combo, but a huge component of Secret's team fight is gone, and it's also before Big Daddy gets his Blink Dagger.
He's going to block it off, though. They'll block it off, clear a creep wave. EG will realize this is a lost cause and then try and probably back off.
Oh, Necro 3 pop. They are going to catch Arteezy out on the other side of the fissure. Remember, he's got Aegis, though, and the AC complete. He charges in. Zeist also trapped in here. And they're going to look to engage. I think they whiffed a coil there for Fear. And now Arteezy starts to drop low. Call down was used. They brought the tower down by a lot. And they all limp to safety. Yeah, Fear coil, but didn't really do much. By the way, Fear is going for that Ags upgrade on Puck. And against already 2 BKBs, potentially we see a third on the Timber. This is a very big item pickup for your Puck.
At the same time, it doesn't go through BKB, though, so you can just BKB and TP out and you'll still be safe.
Yeah.
So it's...
But if you're TPing out, then you're leaving your team to die to the Lycan. So could have some utility there.
Yep.
Or just force out those BKB charges, which are still pretty important for Secret. Else the Ravage will ruin them.
So EG maintaining full map control, farming up both jungles, Ancients, increasing their gold lead, and constantly scouting out No Tail and company with Wolves.
And good news for Secret, I think the next time that we see EG push, they will have the Big Daddy Blink Dagger. He's very close to it now, and they are prioritizing him farming it. He's sitting at 2,100 gold, or 2,080 gold, so closing it quickly.
Yeah, and Arteezy without an Aegis, he can die twice easily with a good Echo Slam.
Yeah, he's holding off on a BKB pickup and continues to just build tanky, now offering his team plus 10 armor to everyone. That is very nice versus a Gyrocopter Death Prophet core. Doesn't address the Timber Saw, but I imagine at some point this game we see Arteezy go back for BKB, and at that point, really nothing will scratch him.
I think a Hex would be a lot better for Puck instead of the Scepter. Yeah. I mean, Scepter's like, I personally think Puck Ags is one of the worst ones, at least before the buff. I actually haven't seen the buffed one in action.
I've seen it a few times. It seems pretty scary in the right situation. Here we go, the Blink Dagger reveal. They go in immediately on Arteezy. They blow him up. Now Zai, Big Daddy springs the trap and works his magic again top lane. They'll also look to farm out Familiars. They did lose their Gyrocopter bottom lane in a matter of seconds, though. Universe Blue Ravage, and Fear's going to push in with him. So a 2-for-1. They bring down the Juggernaut Arteezy's Lycan, and they get a 3,300 gold swing on the back of that. Yeah, as well as a 5,000 experience change.
EG had just scouted him out maybe 1 minute before and didn't see the Blink Dagger, so they felt a little bit safe. But you know the timing's coming out around this time. And yeah, Scepter upgraded.
Let's see how much it does. It's a little tricky for Arteezy until he gets his BKB now. After that fight, he's bought an Ogre Club. He definitely realizes, and I'm sure he did going in, that he's going to need one at some point. Just didn't want to rush it and have a low duration later on, but he'll build towards it now. And you saw the magic damage that Secret have. That Timber Saw just wrecked him.
Yeah, he needs a BKB. I think AC's good if you can push on the back of an Aegis, and it doesn't really matter if you get bursted down once because they won't burst you down twice. But as you said, they have a lot of physical mitigation with Dazzle and with the armor in general, and he just needs the BKB before they breach it. Maybe with Aegis Cheese.
Yeah, with the Dazzle ult on their whole team, it's really up to magic damage to stall and try and turn the fights on EG.
At the same time, like, it still might be useless. If he doesn't BKB in time or just gets echoed and there's no like Hex or Coil or Silence or Yules on the Shaker, then Arteezy will still die. And, of course, Dazzle Grave.
Yeah, PPD's got to be behind him in these fights. He does have a 4-staff, so he's got a little extra mobility to get in range. Other things that EG are working towards, Refresher on inbound for Universe. They've been able to force out a handful of BKBs. The S4, 1 down to 9 seconds. Krogi's down to 8. Still
looking for a kill on Universe. He's out in no man's land.
Fissure on the Universe. Ravage in 18. He's got a 4-staff ready, though. They're going to have to chase a lot where Fear could coil and potentially turn this. He's going to drop it on 2. They chain out, actually failing to do so. S4 gets pounded by the Familiars. They blow him up again, and Simba will fall as well. Did not Bloodstone deny in time. Costly deaths there.
How long did that thing last? I'm not sure how long the stun lasts now. That actually looks ridiculous.
The break duration is 3 seconds.
Wow, that is insanely
And the coil lasts
long.
for 6 seconds. Yeah, it's good. And, I mean, you could BKB and cheap you out and take the stun after, but short of that, well, they're just going to stun you when you try to. And they get the Refresher now, Ben. What a timing window. Exorcism was not used, fortunately, but BKBs are cooling down. In the case of the gyrocopter, they trap Arteezy. Fear again on the front lines. Big Daddy almost panic echo slams as he's caught out of position. Now they buy back on their Death Prophet. Universe ravages once. That didn't do a thing. And now we'll get focused. No, there's a grave to keep him alive. The courier came in. I thought he had his refresher, but if he did, it wasn't delivered. Maybe he didn't have it yet. Now they're chasing. They're looking for Fear on the way out. The Chakrams there. They'll use him to start. They can silence him right when they drop down if they're quick, and they will be. They bring down Fear and hold the line. Yeah, I guess he did not have refresher. Yeah, he didn't have it. Courier was just coming out to deliver something else.
Great hold for them, but very costly. Death Prophet is getting weaker and weaker relative to EG as time goes on, and that is not a good sign. He really needs an Aegis to back him up. And at this point, I guess they're going high ground.
They might have to, honestly. At least take a tier 2 mid.
They don't know the where's the refresher?
No, he didn't actually have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I missed. I just saw the courier flying out mid and saw he had spent his gold, but he spent the gold to complete the components for it. So, meanwhile, Universal cut the lane mid, so he's preventing a high ground push. No breach in sight. Now retreating out of the Radiant jungle. His Big Daddy's on the hunt for him, but he should be okay here. They are also bringing Simba. And Arteezy's going to use the Lycan ult, and he goes in, trying to hunt down this Timbersaw, who chains up to the high ground. Tidehunter's there with the Anchor Smash. He doesn't have a Ravage, but they just finish him off so quickly with the Mana Burn. This time he will Bloodstone deny. Still another death for Simba. 0 and 5. And this coming into the tournament was probably his signature, or if not signature, his go-to hero for Secret. But EG are just shredding. And hey, what do you know, Ben? Free Roshan. Free Aegis again.
I can understand why they would pick Dire over first pick if teams give them Lycan. They're just amazingly good at securing control for it every single time. Boom, get a kill, Roshan. Don't get a kill, smoke it in a Rosh. Or force some action on the top lane with Visage or another hero. And they have the Tidehunter to back it up to, a little bit of minus armor to do it even more quickly. And the same story, different chapter.
Familiar's moving now through the Radiant jungle. Zai, well, what do you even go for? Normally you see an AC next on this Visage, but he's gone for a Shiva's Guard.
Atos.
What a luxury item it is. Yeah, more armor for this team.
Pipe.
That could be really nice. Although, there's a lot of pure damage from the Timbersaw, but still some magic to mitigate from, like, say, your Puppy Ogre Magi.
And Echo. I think Echo's a big one.
Yeah. It gives them some much-needed burst damage for sure.
Yeah, they can use Pipe and then use like a BKB, and that's a lot of time to take down a T3 and a Rax. And the Secret can't really initiate that into that either, so it puts them in a really tough spot on the high ground defense. And 16 seconds might be all they need to take down, let's say, a mid T3 and melee Rax.
Do you think this Aegis is the go time for EG? Like, before it expires, try to break the base?
Probably get BKB on Lycan first.
I think he's got it. Yeah, 2,800 gold in Ogre Club. So he's got BKB in like a minute.
I think they can pressure to T3. It's so low that it should be an easy transition. And
they might even be able to go 2. There's no tier 2 bottom, and that tower is also damaged.
Mm-hmm. If they kill Death Prophet, then definitely so. Gyrocopter working on his farm a little bit before his Butterfly. Be a great time to push before his Butter, but Fear.
Caught out Fear, bottom lane. Fissure started it off, and now he phase shifts, tries to blink out. You know, he gets off the coil. Now he yules. He's just buying a lot of time, and looks like he'll go down to the end. Familiars come in. They get off 3 stuns. They forced out a Kuroki BKB. They're all going to TP out. Multiple BKBs pop. There was actually no one from EG in the neighborhood. I think they were expecting like 3-4 heroes to be right on top of them, but there was nothing. Well, that's expensive. 6-second BKB on Kuroki now. S4's down to 7. That, I don't even know if that's worth getting the puck kill. Without these BKBs, the Refresher Tide is just going to ruin them.
Still, it's necessary. They can't afford a death like that at that point, and they could very easily have been back there with them.
Yeah, it just shows you Secret's lack of map control. Like, look at the ward situation. They've got 1 ward up on the hill on each side, but that's it. Beyond that, they have no idea what EG are up to.
BKB's coming out now.
Pretty much know everything. They're going in on S4 bottom lane. No, he's going to retreat out quickly. Now there's your BKB.
Yeah, they can push now. Universe does have his ultimate. 2 minutes left on Aegis. Seems very good. Although they do need a swing in mid. So if Puppy or gyrocopter can clear out that wave in mid, that'd be really useful for them.
Looks like they may go for a 4th BKB here, or maybe a Heaven's Halberd for Zai. We saw the Mass Halberd strat to counter the BKB carries earlier this tournament as those BKBs wear down. That was against the Drow Visage combo. Arteezy's going to get caught out, multicast 3 times, and then an ultimate from the gyrocopter. He may have to BKB to dodge this. No, he's just going to tank it. And he's durable enough to withstand that punishment, and they can heal him up. No earn charges, unfortunately. And they summon Wolves, and they still look to push through mid. He'll get a decent amount of HP back and continues to breach. Popping the Howl, popping the Necro Book, Big Daddy in position. Fissure to hold them back a bit. They want to wait as long as possible to engage. Buyback situation for the Radiant is not good, Ben. They have a Timbersaw buyback, and that's it. Same for EG. They don't have too many buybacks, just Zai sitting on his. But the difference is they're the ones that all the lanes pushed in. So even if they lose a fight, unlikely to lose much more.
1 full minute left on that.
They walk in now. Familiars are going to take this Rax down. They force down Exorcism. Here's your skirmish. Arteezy, Force Staffed across the fissure. These Force Staffs this tournament have been massive for both teams. Another nuke comes out from S4. He gets the kill. Where's that puck coil? Is it going to come? Still waiting. Big Daddy with the fissure. Then the Echo Slam trying to keep the initiators of EG off of their team. BKBs were popped. They got to end this fight soon. Universe retreating to the high ground. Arteezy just goes onto them. He morphs into Super Wolf and chases onto Kuro. 2 auto attacks, munches the helicopter, rips him out of the air and chews him to bits. And now he hunts for more. This is before any Ravages. This is before EG even begin to unveil their team fight combo. And they'll just go for a 2nd lane of Rax onto the bottom lane. Your gyro buyback forced out. I don't even know if EG have to back here. There's no Exorcism. They've got double Ravage. Just got to wait for the right opening to try and win this game. And Secret have their backs against the wall. They had a chance to just knock EG out of the grand finals, but should they lose this, we go to that decisive game 5.
Cheese also passed the Lycan, so he has a 3rd life, it looks like. They need to cut the wave, or sorry, kill the wave. Still working with backdoor protecting. They really want to push when Death Prophet ulti is down and she's dead, but it looks like they'll still have about 60 seconds on that. And just so much sustain coming out from EG too. Just cannot kill Lycan.
Homie Missile coming in. Again, will hit Arteezy, but then they really don't want to go on him after that. They'll summon the Necro Book, and once more under the breach, EG march in. This prompts a Death Prophet buyback. Still no Exorcism. TPing in immediately to try and halt this push. It's too late. The melee racks are down. Big Daddy looking for an Enchant Totem Initiate. Won't get it. And they lose racks. They get nothing in return. They've already spent that Death Prophet buyback. They actually used 3 in total in that fight. And they may lose a range rack.
They're so scared of the Ravage. They're just deathly afraid.
The Ravage is, yeah. And they also have the Puck Dream Coil back. That's another tool that EG can make them worry about. As Arteezy is going to shapeshift, he's just going to book it back towards the top lane. He'll push that lane out. And basically from here, EG just want to reset, maybe even wait for the next Rosh and then go and end the game.
Yeah, that's a very cool concept with the Puck Ultimate. They just like Puck Ultimate and Lycan just runs in with BKB. If you run out, you get owned. If you stay in a man fight, you also get owned. And if you try and wait out the BKB, you get owned by Ravage.
It's actually a pretty, I mean, this was a combo teams were using a lot at like TI2 and TI3, but the difference is now you've got the Eggs upgrade that prevents them from BKBing and just running away. Whereas that used to be at least some solution to the Puck Lycan combo. So it is a cool concept. And it's been an effective one.
And it looks like EG just trying to end the game right now.
Okay, maybe they don't even bother waiting for the next Rosh. They're pretty, they know buybacks are on cooldown as well. 3 heroes don't have them. Zai farming the enemy neutrals. And Secret even see this, but just don't feel confident to go in.
Can Big Daddy make the plays necessary to bring his team back from the abyss?
Where's Eternal Envy when you need him?
21,000 gold. Yikes.
It really is the abyss. Like, sure, they hold off the full mega creeps for now, but only for a few seconds longer, perhaps. And those buybacks are really punishing their farm. EG's map control has been good all game. Kuroki's been limited, and they're going to try to end it before he can stack up any more items. They BKB now and just lay into the racks in the tier 3 tower. This will be mega creeps almost before the engagement even happens. Ravage number 1 didn't do much, only caught out Puppey, but Ravage number 2 is ready. They grave Universe, and he waits for the opening. There you go. Kuroki standing strong for now. Nice evasion, but not enough. They lose Arteezy, everybody melting, insta buyback from him. S4 doing good work, still they've lost 3, and he'll fall as well. The Visage stands in the end, and EG force a deciding game 5 in what has become an epic between Secret and EG here in the grand finals of Starladder Season 10. What a blow-for-blow series.
Ban that Lycan. It is as simple as that. No response from Secret.
We're going the distance, Ben. I didn't actually hear the predictions because I wasn't on the panel.
I said 3-1 Secret.
Okay. Do you still believe in Secret for this game 5?
If they ban Lycan, yes.
Okay, so you think they could deal with the Razor or the Jakiro better than that?
I think they can deal with the Razor. I think that's the lesser of two evils.
Okay,
lesser
so
of three.
Jakiro Lycan ban those.
Mm-hmm.
Or
that's my suggestion.
Or I guess first pick it, right? Because they have first pick this next game, or no, the Radiance had first pick, right?
They first picked Tidehunter and countered with a Death Prophet, I believe. Death Prophet Shaker.
Okay, so he wasn't even a first pick this game, the Lycan.
No, he was first phase though.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean they could just put it on Kiro. We'll see.
That's true. Well, guys, for that game 5, we're not going to waste any time. We take a very quick break. We come back, and then we wrap up Starladder Season 10. A lot of money at stake. I'm LD. He's Merlini. You're watching Beyond the Summit's presentation of the LAN Finals here live from Kiev Cybersports Arena. We'll be right back.
esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.